Welcome everyone to the Avengenerds podcast where we talk Marvel, DC, Star Wars, and more. I'm your host Torin, and with me is my co-host Peyton.
Hi.
Yeah, let's get into it.
Yeah, let's get into it. We got a great show for everyone this week. This week, again, we are continuing our Spider-Man marathon for Spider-Man month in the lead up to No Way Home. We just got a couple more weeks, and then the movie's going to be out. That's just crazy to think about. I mean, it's right around the corner. But this week, we're going to be talking about Spider-Man Homecoming and Far From Home. If you missed out on us talking about the Amazing Spider-Man trilogy or Amazing Spider-Man duology and the Raimi trilogy, those are already up. Go listen to those if you haven't already, and then come back to this one because we got some stuff to talk about. But before that, we got the news of the week. Pretty good news week. We got a lot of No Way Home news because I mean, it's coming closer. So some more stuff's coming out about it. But Torn. We got them No Way Home tickets, didn't we?
Dude, that was honestly like one of the worst experiences yet, but with like the most satisfying like feeling getting them.
Bro,
oh my goodness.
If I didn't get those tickets, I would have lost it.
Honestly, bro, I would have just snuck in. I would have just paid somebody to be like, hey, can I sneak in with y'all? Like, come on, just...
Yeah, pay for another movie, sneak into the theater, and just sit on the stairs.
Dead ass. I will literally do that. I'm going to be like, look... Or I could have just bought a handicap seat. No one buys those.
I think they check if you're handicapped.
They don't fucking know. They can't just look at me like that.
Just get a fake ID. It says, look, I'm handicapped.
Or bring in a cane.
True. Bring the cane.
That's horrible. Don't do that.
I have a cane. I can do it.
Well, I have a cane too, but I'm not just gonna do
that. Man. All right, but besides that, let's start off with some DC news, then we'll get into some of the Marvel stuff. Also, I forgot to mention Hawkeye. We're going to be talking a little bit about the most recent episode. But yeah, some DC news. Batgirl has begun filming. Hip hip hooray! Super excited for that. Robbie Amell will return for 2 episodes of The Flash season 8, so that's exciting. Exciting to see him back. The Peacemaker trailer came out. It was pretty good. It was pretty much just like a longer version of the trailer we saw at DC Fandom. But
okay,
still cool to see. And the thing I'm really excited about is the new looks at Reverse Flash, Barry Allen, and Flash Thawne for CW's The Flash Armageddon. That Reverse Flash suit looks freaking sick.
That is like honestly like I used to like be a big fan of the Reverse Flash suit, like even more of the Flash's suit. But honestly, the Reverse Flash suit right now, like, might be the best suit like we've seen in live action.
I don't care. Good. I mean, we've been critical about the Flash and the CW just on this podcast, but man, if this Armageddon little arc they're doing right now is pretty freaking good. It's pretty good. But yeah, I think you're definitely right. It's probably the best suit they've made so far. Yeah, I can't think of anything else besides the regular Flash suit and maybe the Superman suit, but yeah, it's looking really good. But on to some Marvel news. Amy Pascal was interviewed by Fandango, and she talked about the future of MCU Spidey and Tom Holland. She said, quote, "This is not the last movie that we are going to make with Marvel. This is not the last Spider-Man movie. We are getting ready to make the next Spider-Man movie with Tom Holland and Marvel. We're thinking of this as 3 films, and now we're going on to our next 3. This is not the last of our MCU movies." Now, this being said, the Hollywood Reporter said that no official deal has been made. But if Amy Pascal is sort of like talking sort of this openly about it, and we got Kevin Feige like a couple weeks ago, I think, or something, saying that he doesn't think that they're going to put fans through that shit show that happened at like the end of 2019. So this is good. It shows that this stuff's probably definitely going to happen. She also said that she and one of the directors for Spider-Verse 2 said we're going to get some sort of news about that soon. And by soon, I mean literally today, the day we're recording, but nothing's dropped as of yet. If it drops during the podcast, maybe we'll talk about it. But if not, we'll just cover it next week. Also, some stats about Spider-Man No Way Home. It has the second biggest pre-sale ticketing launch at Fandango, just behind Avengers Endgame. It surpassed The Last Jedi, The Rise of Skywalker, and freaking Avengers Infinity War. I mean, good God, man.
Yeah,
crazy. This movie's gonna be freaking huge. It's people are like, this is gonna be Endgame. I don't think it's gonna be Endgame. Just literally only because of the pandemic. I think people are still a bit apprehensive, but this is gonna break $1 billion easily.
Yeah, I've definitely me and Payne will talk outside the podcast, and I definitely have said that this is definitely going to be. I mean, if people are going to compare it to Endgame, this is definitely the pandemic's version of Endgame for sure. And this movie is going to be so good that it's going to make it its own economy, bro. Like, I swear. But this movie definitely has a hype around it, and like I'm definitely don't doubt all the records it's breaking before the release of the movie.
Yeah, I mean, I can't wait to see the numbers. It's just gonna break records like crazy.
Definitely.
But on to some other news. Colby Smulders will return as Maria Hill in Secret Invasion. Awesome. Kind of expected, but nice to have that confirmation. And last but not least, Hawkeye episode 3 released. Just one word, Torn. Kingpin. I mean, if you haven't seen the most recent episode, sorry.
It should have been quicker than that. I'm just kidding.
But man, it was definitely the best episode so far. You know, Hawkeye and Kate Bishop are like really coming into their own as a team. Echo's introduction was awesome. She seems great as a character. I can definitely sort of see now how Marvel was like, let's give her own show. Really, really fun stuff. I mean, a lot of the action was really good. Like, really good.
That was amazing.
When Kate shot the arrow up, and of course, you know, Clint with that Pym Tech arrow. Whew! Freaking sick. But I have a little bit of a theory regarding Kingpin. Okay, so in this third episode, it's revealed that Ronan killed Echo's father. May he rest in peace. And of course, now Echo has this old vendetta against Ronan for obvious reasons. Now, if anyone familiar with the comics knows that this is a deviation from the comics. In the comics, Kingpin kills Echo's father, while in the show, obviously, it was Ronan. I think in her series, it'll be revealed that Kingpin actually tipped off Ronan to that location and in turn got her father killed.
Yeah.
So it'll be like the comics, but not really, you know? But man, I'm super excited to see Vincent D'Onofrio's Kingpin. You think he's gonna show up next episode or episode 5 or at all?
I definitely think it's gonna be either the next episode or episode 5, because I know the rumors have been saying that it's gonna be close to the end of the season, which, you know, we're already halfway there. So
yeah, I was about to say we're halfway through the end of the season. We haven't even seen Yelena yet, and we know she's going to be in the series.
Yeah, I've seen the set photo of Yelena, bug-eyed looking motherfucker. But anyways, no, I'm talking about the costume.
Oh,
bug-eyed. No, not her. No, I would never. No, we know no Florence Pugh Sander. No, never.
That's so mean.
No Florence slander at all. No, she is a beautiful woman. Beautiful. I cannot speak. But no slander.
I'm gonna cut all this out and just leave you saying she's bug-eyed.
Don't do that. Just, but anyways, yeah, like, so anyways, yeah, we're getting close. Shut up, stop. The next 15 minutes is gonna be us fucking laughing because of it. I like context, fucking conversation. Okay, you know what? Whatever. Let's just go on to the next topic because I'm just excited for Kingpin. I'm excited to see where the series series goes. My bad.
Same. Definitely excited to see bug-eyed Florence Pugh. Torrance words, not mine.
No, I misspoke. She is not bug-eyed. The costume makes sure the costume just has bug-eyed.
Whew. Okay. Okay. Well, that's it for the news. Time to move on to the topic for today, which is obviously talking about Homecoming and Far From Home. Listen, specifically Homecoming, the excitement around this movie for me was insane. After just seeing him in Civil War, I was like, holy shit, Spider-Man's freaking back. It's his first solo movie. I mean, oh man, I was so excited. But yeah, let's get into this movie, man. How did you feel before the movie came out?
I felt like really excited because it's the first time that we saw Spider-Man in like, well, excluding Civil War, 5 years, right? Because the movie released in 2017, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, it was actually no. Well, yeah, I'm just thinking about the first time we saw Andrew Garfield in the main Spider-Man. It was 2012 up to 2017. Besides, we don't talk about the main Spider-Man 2. But yeah, it was like kind of 5 years around there. It was really excited to see Spider-Man get his own solo film, and I was just so hyped to see him again because like he looked so good in Civil War that like I just couldn't wait to see him in his own movie and to see what happened.
Yeah, definitely.
It's
So let's start out with this opening. The opening music already gives good vibes. It feels like it's like that classic Spidey music, but with a twist, kind of like Tom Spider-Man, to be honest. But yeah, it's a great score. I always forget how to pronounce this dude's name. Michael Giacchino. Regardless,
yeah.
Regardless, incredible score. Great theme. I thought it was a really fun choice to open up the movie on the wreckage of the New York battle and show that Toomes was a normal dude that got genuinely fucked over by Stark. It wasn't like it didn't feel unnatural. Like he has a legitimate reason to be like, fuck this guy.
Yeah. Took away not only his job but like others as well.
Exactly.
And we'll go into that later on as we explain, but definitely Adrian Toomes has a really nice ideology for the way he thinks in this version of Spider-Man.
100%. Also, fuck this shouldn't have overextended yourself guy. Like,
I know, right?
He was literally doing his job? Fuck you. like, was he supposed to know you were coming? Like, Toomes should have killed that guy. I wouldn't have been mad.
I know, right?
But yeah,
definitely.
And of course, he had like the head of damage control. I forgot her name. Forgot the character's name. But she's like, "You could take away our superiors," and he's like, "Your superiors? Who are they?" And the great cut to Stark to show that he's responsible. It automatically vilifies Tony while humanizing Toomes, and literally all of this happens in less than 5 minutes. So,
I know, right?
Which is incredible. But yeah, so like after a small montage of Toomes' team being successful, we cut to that Marvel Studios intro with that great remix of the OG Spider-Man song playing.
I love it.
Man,
I love it.
It's great. And of course, it then cuts to the film by Peter Parker. It's so infectiously fun. Like, would Tobey's Spider-Man do that? No. Would Andrew's do that? Probably not. But we got to remember the age range Peter is in and the era that this is in. Like, This is right on the
But
money for modern 15-year-old Peter Parker. You know what I mean?
yeah, very, very social media, like, very, very, very digitized era that we live in. It would, it's like, it's definitely something that Peter Parker would do in this modern time.
Definitely.
I mean, personally, I would have done it too. Like, I mean, why not?
How'd you feel about the actual the film itself?
The film is
his
oh,
little short film, yeah.
it was fun. I liked it. It was really, really fun. It's also a nice scene, like the before when he gets called.
Yeah.
I like seeing that. That was
Whoa,
awesome.
who's that new guy?
It is like, and then it's like, oh god, oh god, go, he's big now. Eh, well, but also, like, what also was funny is that after that, he's like all like, like talking like frantically to the camera, and then he just does this like weird like reverse backflip.
Yeah.
That was so funny.
We have thin walls here.
That was awesome.
A little bit earlier in the little short film, Happy says something I thought was a little bit tone deaf. He asked Peter if he's ever been on a private plane before, as if like that's a normal thing for everyday people to have been on private planes. Like, he really has been like living in a bubble with Stark. Like, obviously this poor broke 15-year-old kid hasn't been on a private plane.
You ever been on a private plane before? I've never been on a plane. It's my first plane, actually.
Yeah,
It's
and
like,
also
bro.
like when he puts on his suit for the first time, except it's the homemade suit, and he's like, what are you doing? He's like, where's the
What
suit?
are you doing?
And he's like, it's in here. He's like, that's still my room. I thought that was a closet. And it's like, while these MCU Spider-Man movies don't go crazy on the whole like Peter is poor thing, it's subtle lines like those, and like I've never been on a plane, that show that is still the case. Not everything has to be like spelled out, you know?
Yeah, exactly. We'll get into that next week as well.
Yeah.
I have so much lined up. You have no idea. I have been reading and just absorbing every single thing. But well, then we'll get into that. I also love the when he's in the car with Tony. He's like, hey, let's record something for your aunt. It's like, hey May, what are you wearing?
Something skimpy,
Skimpy, I hope.
Stark saying what we're all thinking.
He said it for all of us.
His line, don't do anything I would do, but don't do anything I wouldn't do. There's a little gray area in there, and that's where you operate. Will forever be ingrained in my brain because the amount of times they used it in the trailers.
Oh,
They
true.
used it every single trailer. But I love how snarky Happy is when Peter says he could take up the suitcase. He's like, you like, get the case. And he's like, you want me to bring this up? And Peter's like, I'll bring it up. He's like, he looks over to Stark. He's like, thank you. Like, Jesus.
And then
I don't know about you, but like when it goes from his little short film and then it cuts to like normal film, I get so used to his short film audio that the normal audio kind of fucks me up. I'm like, whoa, the bass.
It's so clear.
Yeah. And then of course we cut to Peter in school, and my guy Ned is a goated friend. What a great guy.
Awesome. I love Ned. We all need a Ned in our lives, for real.
True. I would have built the Lego Death Star with him.
Bro, who wouldn't build a Lego Death Star? That's fucking amazing.
Peter, apparently, because he's too busy being Spider-Man or whatever. Like, build a Lego Death Star. Who cares about that bank being robbed? Who cares? But
yeah, by the Avengers. God,
yeah,
inconsiderate.
I'll get into it more next week, but there's going to be a lot of. We'll get into this next week because there's a lot of bullshit that people say about these movies. But yeah, I'll get into it more next week. But many people like to say or think that this Spider-Man is dumb, or they make him seem that way. That's clearly not the case in scenes where he's not paying attention and he sees the equation and solves it immediately. He makes his own web fluid in science class, and
you see it more in Far From Home as well. Like, he's like saying shit.
Yeah, about the multiverse.
Saying shit about the multiverse. Going towards the end of the movie. Well, yeah, we'll talk about that in a little bit.
They also say he's the smartest one on the decathlon team. I mean,
Yeah.
put some respect on my man's name.
Bullshit.
Starting out his love interest with Liz Allen is a fun choice. It's also nice to see a live action Peter Parker that's into seasoned women.
I know, right? It's definitely nice to see that he's on to the more melanin side.
Laura Harrier, a great actress. I feel they may have underused her a bit. I hope she comes back in some way. I don't know how they do that, but part of me is like, I hope she comes back because she was really good. Also,
College.
Yeah, true, college. But although no, she moved to whatever,
Oregon.
Yeah, Oregon, right. Tony Revolori is a great new take on Flash. The big jock bullies don't really exist anymore. So having him be like a rich kid with a major case of overconfidence, with a sprinkle of cyberbullying, makes a lot of sense, and I think is executed really well. I see a lot of people say he's annoying, and I'm like, yeah, that's kind of the point.
That's the point, right? That's kind of the point.
I love the. This is one of my favorite scenes of the movie. I love the Delmar scene.
Oh yeah,
Peter destroys this man. How's your daughter? Like, God is.
Man, tried to freaking change the price on a sandwich because of that.
Yeah, sore loser.
but also it's like one of the look, off topic. Like Peter knows what's up when it comes to sandwiches. Like when you smush a bread like real flat, bro, it just tastes different. It tastes real different. And then he has manners because you always got to greet the bodega cat. Always greet the bodega cat.
Oh, now I'm sad. Now I'm sad we didn't get the cat in the backpack like Miles Morales.
Oh, imagine man, that would have been nice.
It wouldn't have made any sense, but I want to see it.
But yeah, dude. Then actually going to Mr. Delmar, the attack from the robbery, and I don't know what. Okay, so going back to Spider-Man. People say that he doesn't quip enough when he's in battle. And I'm like, excuse me? I don't understand. Like, he quips a lot when he's in battle?
Maybe it's, less one-liners and more, continuous, I
mean, still or not.
I know,
it's still quippy.
It's definitely quippy, but, yeah, they're just not, they're not one-liners, I guess. But that's honestly not a bad thing.
Yeah.
Like, Thor, Hulk, good to see you guys. I thought you'd be... like a prettier person, whatever the hell he said. He's still quipping. So I don't know. But after that Delmar scene, he goes and puts the suit on for the first time. And even though I dislike how skin tight the suit is, the automatic fitting thing is pretty cool. It's pretty freaking sick.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
But I love it. Speaking of that, let's talk about the CGI for a bit. Again,
yeah,
we'll get more in depth next week. But man,
there are some parts in the movie where I was watching Homecoming, the CGI was Yeah, it was in some places.
It looks good when he's putting it on, and the eyes shrink and expand and whatever, and then he jumps away, and then it's like, ugh. But like you said, it fluctuates too. Like the moments you can tell it's practical, the suit looks freaking amazing. Like when he stops the bike thief. I don't understand how we got the beauty in Spider-Man VFX that's the Amazing Spider-Man 2, and then somehow downgrade 3 years later.
for sure. And it's why? That's why I said I hope that later on this gets changed in No Way Home. And also I just feel like I'm gonna say this every time when it comes to suits. They should have used the unused suit. That's such a waste. Such a good suit.
It is a good
suit. I understand why they didn't use it.
I think literally the only thing they need to do to make the CGI, because I don't think it's the actual movement itself, because Spider-Man always looks a bit rubbery. That's just kind of the nature of who he is. But it's the suit that just makes it look so unrealistic. All I think they need to do is raise the webbing and make the suit looser that's it. I feel
True.
like I don't know if like those corridor crew guys can do it. I don't think they could, but like somehow like if someone could like edit it to make it maybe look better. I don't know. I just want to see some better VFX for Spider-Man. I don't think it's going to be better in No Way Home though, just because of those. It's still skin tight. It's the raised webbing still isn't there. But I'm hoping for the next trilogy that we do get that.
Facts.
But there's that montage of him, like I was saying earlier, like the bike thief and stuff like that, and helping that old lady or whatever. And then he's sitting on that balcony eating a sandwich.
I thought it was a churro.
Or was it a churro?
It was a churro,
Regardless, but he's eating it with the half mask, and New York's in the background. Gorgeous shot.
Amazing shot.
Gorgeous shot. Straight out of the comics too. The half mask thing eating.
I also love the scene is like, hey, you're a Spider guy on YouTube, right? Spider-Man. Okay, Spider-Man. Do a flip. That dude, I cheese so hard during that scene. That's just a great scene. But then we go like later on.
Sorry, go on.
What's that? I was gonna say like we're gonna actually no go on to your thought because I was gonna move on to the next scene.
Okay, well the bank robbery scene, kind of like who you were talking about earlier. It's great and very Spider-Man, but it shows that Pete is still growing into that Spider-Man persona. I mean, you see him before he, goes in the attack. He's like trying to figure out the best position.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. So he's still not there 100%. That's the whole point of this trilogy, really. Kevin Feige has said it multiple times that they want to do a Harry Potter thing where we watch Peter Parker grow into the Spider-Man that we know and love, while still being the Peter Parker Spider-Man that we know and love. And
for sure.
I think they're succeeding in that. It's called character development. I don't know if you've heard of it, but
well, definitely some of these Raimi fanboys haven't,
for real. But I love how Pete calls Happy and he's like, oh, my backpack's gone. He's like, I'll call you. He's like, I'll call you back. And Happy's like, feel free not to.
For sure. But after like all that montage, we get into like the kind of like the it was like it was them at the party, right? Like Ned and Peter at the party after that.
No, because Ned has to find out first.
Oh yeah, because Ned found out, and then like, he drops a Death Star, and my heart crushed.
Yeah, it's just pain. But it was a very fun scene with Ned when he finds out. But can we please talk about how Uncle Ben is very clearly mentioned? No, it's not by name, but who cares? Like who he's talking about. You know who it is.
Exactly.
When he's like, what May's been through and whatever, like and all that. Like, I don't this hard on for Uncle Ben. Like after the Amazing Spider-Man, it was always like, and even in Civil War, it was like, when we get the next Spider-Man movie, do we need to see Uncle Ben getting killed again? We've seen it a million times, blah 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 blah, and then we don't get it because it's not an origin story, and then it's like, where's Uncle Ben? Why isn't Uncle Ben mentioned? Like, come on, man. I don't understand.
I just love how they did a complete 180 on that. And then they're like, because Uncle Ben is like, what is Peter Parker become Spider-Man? Like, oh my god, like shut up.
And I'll get into it more a little bit later, but I think a lot of that has to do with the idea or the thought that the MCU is trying to replace Uncle Ben with Tony Stark. I'm definitely gonna get more into that a little bit later, because that's just a bunch of BS. But moving on to the next scene where May and Peter get dinner. When May goes, I larb you. I'm like, May, why are you biting your lip like that, May?
Yeah, she bit. I was like, oh my god.
Why you gotta bite your lip like that?
It's gonna be a next episode on PH. Like, come on, bro.
And then that guy gives her free food to be at May.
I think he larbs you.
I love the little montage of Ned asking a bunch of questions. Can you spit venom? You summon an army
Do
of
you lay
spiders.
eggs? Do you lay eggs?
Yeah,
All those comic references,
amazing.
amazing. And then like just like 1,000 times, like Ned, shut up. Like Ned, shh.
If I were you,
And then
I'd
like
shoot my webs. I'd shoot my webs from the top of a building to see how far it goes. Shut up!
classic Raimi reference.
Yeah,
And then we go to that gym scene, right?
yeah. I love the Captain America camo and this Captain America camo, and the subtle joke of the gym teacher not being in the right spot.
Yeah. And then freaking Hammer Burst is like, yeah, I mean, this guy's like a war criminal, but I gotta show you these videos.
It's required by the state. Yeah. I love how when Hannibal Buress compliments Peter on his sit-ups, he like pretends to struggle. It's the little things like that, man.
Good work, Parker.
He's like, oh man. All right, look. I don't hate the Peter knows Spider-Man bit because Ned's a little bit of an idiot. But when Flash is pushing Pete about inviting Spider-Man to Liz's party, the super simple solution would be, I don't know him like that, so I wouldn't invite him. And even if I did, why would a grown-ass man attend a high school party unless he's a creep?
Right?
Also, the dude's job is running around saving people's lives. You think he has time for fucking parties? Like, I could probably say that big of a deal, but that scene always bugged me. I'm like, this is what kind of invite Spider-Man, your old pal Spider-Man. Like, what?
I mean, I also think it's like, just a way that like Flash was teasing him because he doesn't know Spider-Man.
No, definitely, but like, I'm just saying that could have been like Peter's response. I'm like, just like, Ned, what are you, or not Ned, or Flash, what the fuck are you talking about?
You want a grown ass man going to a party full of freaking minors, weirdo. Yeah, and then like of course during the freaking party he has to leave, and we see Childish Gambino, aka Donald Glover,
Hell yeah,
as Aaron Davis.
Yeah, he's like, yo, climbers? I was like, eat!
Yeah. He's like, I just want something low key. I ain't trying to like
Shoot someone
vaporize
back in time.
I just trying to shoot someone back in time. That shit was funny. And then Ned called him, and I was like, oh my god. But that was funny though. I like that scene.
Yeah, and then he's chasing him. I love the Ferris Bueller reference.
Yeah, Ferris Bueller. Yeah, I love that. Yeah, that was really nice.
And that was really sad when Ned calls him and he's like, Peter, the hat's not working. This is not cool. I was like, oh no, Ned. But like the moment when Vulture grabs Peter out of the air, terrifying.
Yeah, that scared me, dude. I was like, holy shit. And then like he's like fighting him in like midair, and then I was like, oh god, he's saved. He got the parachute, and then he just sucks him in. I was like, oh. I was like, oh no.
I love obviously Iron Man saves him. I love how the suit copies Tony's movements, like calling the waiter over and holding the drink.
That was funny. And then he's like, are you even here right now? And he lifts face up to the mask, like lifts up, and it's just like technology, not even him.
He's like, it's not too late to think about college. I got some pull at MIT and call.
Yeah.
Of course, we move on to Vulture's hideout, and my guy Batman's pissed.
I know. Freaking Batman's pissed at Bane's variant.
I'd be so scared if Michael Keaton was mad at me.
I know, right? That's like genuine like fear.
Yeah. But the dude straight up killed discount Tom Hardy.
I know, right? He did. He's like, you're the shocker. You shocked people. What is this, pro wrestling? And the guy next to him is like, damn.
That guy's in the new Ghostbusters movie.
Really?
Yeah, great movie. By the way,
I get to see it. I heard it was really good and a really good sequel.
It is a very good sequel. I want to learn Peter and Ned's handshake.
Oh yeah, I love it. That's a good handshake.
It's a good handshake. I also
we'll learn it.
Yeah. I also love when they're walking. I don't remember where they're walking, and then they see the guys snooping around the school for the piece of tech or whatever, and Peter's like, "Oh, that's one of the guys who tried to kill me or whatever." I love how when Ned's trying to act natural with that kid in the window, you can see Peter yeet himself into the room.
Oh, I didn't notice that. I'm gonna have to rewatch that.
Yeah, he goes along the wall. You could just see him just jump across the hallway.
Ned and the kid is like, oh, you're like, oh, what are you doing? He's like, oh, I'm good. Like you, chess. I love how Peter puts a tracker on the dude, and then like the next scene is like him and Ned just like looking at it.
Yeah,
And they're like tracking it.
I love Ned in the Spidey mask.
Yeah, no, it's so funny.
I need more of it.
I need it. I need it as well.
Of course, then they go to the the decathlon thing. They're at the hotel or whatever, and they're hacking the suit. I mean, breaking early look at the black and gold suit for No Way Home. Like
It's
right
true.
there.
Oh yeah. I forgot. Yeah, because it's like Inside Out.
Yeah. Also, Flash really slapped Peter's ass.
Yeah, he really did. He
Fruity
did.
as fuck. Like, can't say I wouldn't do it though.
That's true. Man's dude got cake.
He's really caked up in that suit. He's caked up. But man, Peter really went to go save the day instead of getting some easy ass. He's a better man than me.
On God, dude.
Let's talk about Karen. Karen's a controversial choice in this movie, and I completely understand why. I'll get a bit more into it at the end and next week, but I want to say that there is a reason we don't see her back for Infinity War, Endgame, No Way Home. Like, they clearly show that with those upgrades, they hinder Peter rather than help, you know?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, so Peter follows them all the way to that gas station or whatever, and Karen's like, hey, you want to kill these guys?
I know, right? She just activates insta-kill. He's like, no, I don't want to kill anybody. And I love this. I just love like the part where like he's like going through like the different webs and shit.
Yeah, he's like,
and
Stark really fucking.
He really overdid it with the webs. What did you say? He has like what, like over like 562 combinations of webs,
something like that. The stupid amount.
God damn.
So of course he tries to stop Vulture, and then that dude hits his head hard as hell.
I know, he has a mild concussion.
Crazy how it's just a mild concussion. Like, that man broke his neck.
and then now he's in this freaking like facility.
Yeah, and he's testing out all the web combinations. He finds out he has web wings, which, by the way, there's a lot of people that hate the web wings for no reason. Like, it's been a part of the character since the beginning. Like, I don't understand why people hate it so much.
Yeah, I don't know why either.
Speaking of the webs, the actual webs look great in these movies.
I know. I wish I had something like that.
Like I don't know, something about the webs. Like, they look fine in Toby's, they look fine in Andrew's, but something about these webs specifically, I'm like, those are some nice webs.
Definitely, they definitely look nice. I'm actually gonna see if I can make my own web fluid.
Do it.
But also, then there's the freaking the Washington Monument scene. I love it. Also I love the part where Peter's just running across like the fucking like the strip, like you know where the water's at. And he's just completely running until he hits the building. So what?
I love MJ's comment about the monument being built by slaves, and then Mr. Harrington's like, "Well, I'm sure that," and then the security guard's like,
Yeah, I love that. But look, I gotta say this: when like, you know, when Peter's on the building, he's like crawling up and stuff like that. He's like using his webs to like elevate himself, and you know, like him on the top of the building, and he's like, "Oh, I've never been this high before." That is like so relatable. I don't know why, but then you know, like I said, it's still like with him getting used to like his powers.
Yeah.
But I gotta say, that is like one of the most Spider-Man things ever, to like, you know, jump over a freaking helicopter, swing under it, and then hit the window and save everybody. That is so Spider-Man.
Yeah.
I love it so much.
And of course he saves everyone in the elevator, and then they do the fake out upside down kiss.
I know, right?
That was great.
And then he falls into like oblivion.
Yeah. And then, of course, after everyone gets home safely, and there's the little news report thing they do at school. Mr. Harrington's we wouldn't bear to lose another student on a school trip. Not again.
Again. And I was like, again?
Like, oh my God.
And he looks, but what makes it even funnier is that he looks into the camera fucking extra like 5 seconds.
Yeah. We get Donald Glover again.
Yo, yeah, with the failed interrogation scene. He's like,
Yeah.
you really need to work on that, on this part of the job.
He's like, I know what a girl sound like.
He's like, I'm not a girl. I'm
not a girl.
boy.
I'm a man. Oh man.
And then
he has a nephew.
yeah, he has a nephew.
Miles Morales.
Miles Morales. And then we go to the ferry. Gives him the location to the ferry, and that's, like I said, that's more Spider-Man like. You know, he kind of has like this like little snark to him. He has little that confidence, that little exaggerated swagger. Because that's what I heard. You know, things like with this Peter Parker, they're like, he's too nice. You know, where's all the snark? You know, where's that's kind of what people have been saying about this Peter, which I can understand to an extent. You know, like he's not like all that snarky compared to like, you know, everyone else. So I would say Andrew. Andrew is more snarky than anything.
Andrew's snarky and cocky, yeah.
But yeah, that's kind of that's a fair complaint sometimes, but it is shown, not a lot throughout his personality, but still, that fairy scene was pretty fucking dope. I loved it a lot.
It was really cool, but it was also tough because pretty much everything goes wrong for Peter.
That's true.
And then, of course, you know, we got the great scene where he's trying to hold the fairy together. We get that one itty bitty snippet of a first person shot.
That's true, yeah. And then you got that freaking the Spider-Man 2 reference to the train.
Yeah.
I will say this, for Tom Holland Spider-Man being like kind of like, well, not in a sense like new, but fairly recent to him being Spider-Man, he knows how to use his webs really well.
Yeah.
Like that's something that's really, really cool. Because like he was doing some work on that ferry. He was doing some work. And then like, yeah, it all went to shit.
I think by then he might have had his powers for a year by that point.
Yeah. Like almost 2 years. Because he's had his powers in Civil War for about 6 months.
Yeah, but then there was a 6-month jump between that and where we are in Homecoming.
Okay, yeah. You're right, a year. Okay, cool.
Dummy.
Sorry. and then Iron Man pulls up. He's like, yeah, like, you know,
band practice was it?
Yeah, band practice was it? And he's like, Mr. Stark, what can I do? And then that line when he says, I think you've done enough. I was like, God damn.
Cold as hell.
That shit hit.
And then, of course, we get the great scene between Tony and Peter on top of, I don't even know where they were, but then you get the coldest thing in the history of these fucking movies. He's like, if you actually cared, you'd actually be here. And then he just pops out of the suit. I was like, oh shit.
It's cold as hell,
man.
And then you have the line, and then he's like, I'm taking away the suit. He's like, no, you can't take it away. That's all I have. Even nothing without the suit, you shouldn't have it. Damn, cold,
deep.
And then he sends him back home with the I Survive NYC shirt.
You hate to
and
see
then
it.
Like, I know, right? And then we get into the third act of the movie.
Yeah, you gotta love the scene. Well, you were talking about it a little bit earlier before we recorded. You texted me talking about how Peter is stuttering when he asks Liz out to Homecoming.
Yes, dude. Yes, I love how he just says, like, you know, I like you. Do you want to go to Homecoming with me? He doesn't stutter like some dummy. He actually just says it, which I love because I don't. It's fine, you know, like being nervous and you kind of stuttering, but
because he's still awkward.
Much. Yeah, you know, because, you know, he does pause when he says it, but it's not like, would you want to go to Homecoming? Like, he just says, would you like to go to Homecoming with me? Like, it's so, I like it. I'm just saying, it's a minor detail that I love. Would you go to Homecoming with me? Like, shut up, dude. He just says it flat out. It's so good. I like it. Not so good, but it's a minor detail that I like.
Yeah. And then, of course, we get the little montage of Peter, preparing for homecoming, and then BAM! Tombs.
I know, right? The reaction Payne and I had, along with our other friend, when we went to go see.
Yeah, we forgot to mention, Torn and I saw this in the theater together. Unfortunately, I had to see it like a day or 2 days after because it was really hard to pay attention. I missed like 80% of the movie because we were making out for so long. But it was it was when we saw Tombs open that door. When I tell you, we flipped the fuck out. I mean,
like that is a great twist. That is a great twist. And not only that, but not only when we were like just like bawling shit out, like the whole audience in the theater, priceless.
Yeah,
priceless.
Like,
we were just like, oh my god.
Oh, what a great moment. But like the entire, I gotta say, the second when Peter opens that door to when Peter enters Homecoming, that whole sequence is still, after rewatching all these movies now, is still my favorite sequence in any Spider-Man movie.
True.
He opens that door, holy shit, it's Tombs. Peter just being completely on edge the whole time. Tom Holland was great. And Tombs just a funny bit how much of a dad Tombs is being, purposefully mispronouncing Peter's name. He knows it's Peter. Pedro.
What's your name? Pedro, Freddy.
But man, it's so good how Keaton puts everything together, and his performance is so damn good.
And then I was talking to Peyton when watching the movie, when they were like writing to the school, Liz wouldn't shut the hell up, and this like just saying like something about the Stark internship, how he knew Spider-Man. And I'm like, Liz, shut up, please. And this dude, Michael Keaton, was like, huh. And I sent to Peyton a picture of Leonardo DiCaprio pointing at the TV because that's literally how he was, putting everything together. And then after that, we get the most like intense scene in the whole movie, damn near, was him talking like, to Peter with a fucking gun in his hand.
I know, he straight up takes a gun out of the glove compartment. I was like, Jesus.
As if he wasn't outside of school.
Yeah, and actually, and like the "Don't do a thing I would do" line, the line "I'll kill you and everybody you love," also in like every trailer.
Oh, yeah, it's true.
But and then of course he says, "So I want you to go in there and show my daughter a good time, but not too good."
I was like, oh man.
I was like, Tombs, sir, I would never.
And then freaking Peter ditches Liz.
Yeah, tough. And they really right? played with us in the trailer because they totally kiss in the trailer.
They did, right?
Yeah.
Man, crazy.
But
should have kept that in.
Similar to my minor complaint about The Amazing Spider-Man 1, there's cameras in the school, man, and that motherfucker just picked up a whole ass set of lockers in the middle of the hallway.
Oh my god. And then like also, I mean, it's not a complaint, but it's just a question. How the fuck did the Shocker 2.0 know he's gonna come out from the fucking like back of the school? Like, how did he know that? I have no idea.
Because Toombs was like, hey, that spider guy, he's probably gonna come after me. So he's not gonna. He's got to get his suit somehow. He's probably gonna come out the back of the school. So why don't you just stay out there just in case? I don't know.
It was just so weird, but it was nice, seeing a 30-year-old man knock a 15-year-old with like some buses around. That's pretty cool.
Ned to the rescue.
And then Ned coming in clutch, bro, with the swag, the drip.
And then Peter steals Flash's car with his Batman voice.
Like, Flash, I'm gonna need your car. Technically, it's my dad's car. It's like, I don't care, give me it. And then he just wreck some bicycles and
Yeah.
shit.
I need Peter to say "swear to me."
Where are they?
Where's MJ?
That was so awesome. And then
Peter with
the next.
with the chess move of leaving his phone in Tomb's car to track him.
Oh yeah, true. Yeah, this man really did that.
And of course, you got the classic. I'm looking at porn.
You love to see it.
And of course, when Peter gets there and faces Toombs, Toombs gives that speech, and while it's a distraction, my guy's right. You know?
Yeah.
That's what makes Vulture such a great villain in this, because the man's right. He's like, I know. Peter's like, I know selling weapons to bad guys is wrong, and he's like, how do you think Stark made his fortune?
Yeah, I know. And then he was like, reiterates the point even more, saying how the people like up top, they don't care about the little guys like us, and it's like, damn, he's spitting.
He really is. He spitting.
Is. That's why. Yeah, I love his ideology, because it also. I mean, of course, it doesn't explore it, but it probably did put a point in Peter's mind that like he is a poor kid, from Queens, and him being like mentored by Tony Stark is just like kind of like a parallel with him and Toombs. So that was pretty. That was a nice little touch, and then the whole building collapses on him and he's crying. And then
that scene is a pretty rough watch. It is a rough watch. He's just a kid. He's trapped. He's like thinks he's gonna die, and he's like screaming out for help. I'm like, God damn.
Yeah, I know that hit me in the theater, and then we get the another parallel shot of a comic book panel shot of him lifting up the building.
Well, not only that, the half and half face when he's looking in the reflection of the water.
Faces too.
Yeah, beautifully done. I wanted to touch on the if you're nothing without the suit, then you shouldn't have it part, because it's sort of emphasized in the scene when he's looking at the reflection and it plays that line again.
Mm-hmm.
Many people thought and still think that was replacing with great power comes great responsibility, but that's not it at all. It's more like the equivalent of Cap's more than just a shield line. Yeah. Like it's saying that he needs to be his own hero, that to be his own hero, and because we got the with great power alternate line back in Civil War when he says, when you can do the things that I can, but you don't, and then the bad things happen, they happen because of you. That's with great power with great power comes great responsibility. Not if you're nothing without the suit, then you shouldn't have it. That's completely different. And yeah, in no way is Stark replacing or has replaced Uncle Ben. I'll get more into that next week. But yeah, I don't like. I think people are saying like they were trying to replace Uncle Ben, or they replaced with great power comes great responsibility. No, they didn't. No, they didn't. That's not what this is. Because if they played with great power comes great responsibility in a movie where that didn't happen, it's a callback to nothing. So, like, he's wearing the homemade suit because Stark took it. Makes sense to put that line there.
And then we get to the final battle after he does that.
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of the plane sequence. Like, the action isn't bad, but it's like too dark and visually confusing. Like everything's like flashing and stuff because of the reflectors or whatever.
I already know somebody had a seizure during that fucking scene, bro.
But man, sorry, go on.
I was saying, like, it was a kind of nice little touch where like Toombs enters the plane, he sees all these boxes, and it's kind of this heroic music playing as if he found gold and shit. It was pretty cool. I liked it.
Yeah. My guy Peter's body like ragdolls like crazy when the plane crashes. Like, how did he not break anything? Like, it's like shows how durable this kid is. Like, Jesus.
Well, I'll talk about his durability when we talk about Far From Home. But yeah, he definitely broke a bone or two. And if not, Vulture did something to him because he was getting smacked by Vulture.
Yeah,
like he was getting slammed.
This part of the third act is a lot better and more on par, in my opinion, with Spider-Man 1. Now, it still doesn't come close to Spider-Man 1, don't get me wrong, but it is probably second for me. Like, it's close, it's personal, it's brutal, just like Spider-Man 1, and ultimately Peter decides to be the hero and saves Toomes. You know, it's not big, it's not grand, it's close, it's personal, there's a connection with Peter and the villain. It works.
Definitely. And it would have been like, of course, that also would have been in parallel if like the suit like killed Toomes, like it just exploded, definitely. And like it would have been like just something if like Peter were to like walk up to him and like he just like, I don't know, he just says something like take care of Liz or something, I don't know, some shit like that, whatever, I don't know.
Don't tell Liz.
But yeah, like don't tell Liz. She finds out the next day on the news. But yeah, definitely it was that this final battle was like personal. It was brutal because Peter's getting slammed by the freaking Vulture. He almost gets stabbed. He gets like clawed on and shit like that. But yeah, that's I like this final battle a lot.
Yeah. And
then of course
I love how Peter still leaves a note for the authorities.
Yeah, I know, right? He's like,
found the Vulture guy.
Sorry about the plane. And Happy's like, oh shit, this kid's fucking awesome.
I know a lot of people hate the MJ reveal, and I can't say I blame them. And like, it's a little clunky. It's not as bad as the Robin reveal in The Dark Knight Rises, but it definitely could have been executed a bit better.
Yeah, he's like, oh, my friends call me MJ. It's like, okay. And? But of course, people are like, should have put MJ? Like, that's not Mary Jane, bro. It's Michelle Jones. Put MJ, like, fucking, you are so stupid. But yeah, I definitely, I can understand where they're coming from. Definitely could have been executed a little bit better because it was just kind of like jarring in a way because like the teacher was like, oh, like, hey, Michelle. It's like, my friends call me MJ. It's like, okay. Go like what does that mean, huh? What are you trying to insinuate here?
And then Peter walks away, and then that look MJ gives him, I was like, "Ooh, Peter!"
I was like, "Hey, another melanated women looking at you, bro." And then he meets Happy in the restroom, and like
not creepy at all.
I know, right? Grown ass man in a freaking restroom waiting on a 15-year-old boy. And then they go to the upstate new Avengers building. And then we see the new suit. Oh my God, bro. That suit.
Again, the way we were freaking out in the theater when we saw the suit.
That shit was just amazing. That shit was incredible. And, I can't. I just thought of something and it bugs me. I'm going to talk about it.
Oh, God.
I was talking about it next week.
I love the way Peter turned down the offer from Stark.
Yeah, he did.
It's just more proof he's not. If he was Iron Boy Jr., he'd be like, hell yeah, let's do this. But he didn't. Also, speaking of the Iron Boy Jr. name, what the fuck is up with that? If he was Iron Boy Jr., there'd have to be an Iron Boy.
People really they honestly took that name and ran with it, bro. They literally did that.
It sounds stupid. If you're gonna call someone a name, at least make it make sense. It would be Iron Man Jr.
just like how I saw this like dumbass comment on Twitter where someone was like, "Oh, this isn't even Spider-Man Homecoming. This is Iron Man 4 Homecoming." I'm like,
my man's was in it for like 10 minutes out of 2 hours.
like ha ha ha, very very funny, bro. It's just unoriginal at this point. It really is, and I hate to be like those people like, oh, you make original jokes, but like it's just so unoriginal, bro. Like the Iron Boy Jr. argument proves like more and more that these fans in quotes they don't pay attention, and they are proving themselves to be Raimi fanboys more and more.
Yeah,
not to say you can't be a Raimi fanboy, but at least know what you're talking about. Any people don't, but we'll, like I said, we'll get into that next week. Stupid.
Yeah, of course, he turns it down, and then he gets home, and the suit's there waiting for him. And there's a theory going around, and it's pretty much since been confirmed, and I alluded to it a bit earlier, but the suit that Stark gives back to Peter is a different suit. It's the same design, but it's stripped of all the major tech enhancements. Karen's not there, and stuff like that, which is a W, because he doesn't need it.
Facts.
But, yeah, and then, of course, we get the, what the fuck?
Then we get to the mid credit scene of, Vulture and Scorpion in prison, and he's like, I heard a rumor that you knew him, and then Toon's is like, if I already knew him, he'd already be dead. It's like, damn, I love it.
But he's lying.
I know he's lying.
What a nice guy.
What a nice guy indeed.
He really is. Man, Batman is good guy Batman. But yeah,
for real.
All in all, this is a great movie. People hate the Stark aspect, but honestly, it barely takes up any of the movie. I'll get more into specifics next week, but man, this is, at least for me, this is easily top 3 Spidey movies. And like, it captures exactly what a 15-year-old Spider-Man would be like. It's fun, it's joyful, it's funny. John Watts nails the John Hughes vibe, and that understandably might not be for everyone, but if that's up your alley and you don't mind it, I'm not sure how this movie can be seen poorly, to be honest. Oh, I loved it. I gave it a 9 out of 10.
Yeah, I'll give it a 9 out of 10 as well. And, going back to, like, the way, like, Homecoming is structured, I often hear this thing. It's like it just depends how you are as a person. But people would be like, "Oh, like I think Far From Home works better as a Spider-Man movie more than Homecoming," and like it's vice versa. I personally have said that this definitely works as a Spider-Man movie. In the aspect of like you said, this is a 15-year-old like becoming Spider-Man, like learning like how everything works, and like how he doesn't really need like a highly advanced suit, whatever.
Yeah.
But like I said, I think this movie works for what it went for. I don't understand why people don't like this movie all that well, because like it also goes back to where some people would like Homecoming but hate Far From Home, and it's like vice versa. But I think both would. They both work well for what they're going for.
Yeah,
sure.
So you also gave it a 9 out of 10.
Yeah, 9 out of 10.
All right, it's Far From Home time. Let's start off with, I love the way that they started off with Mysterio.
I love it.
Which just like instantly, just like, oh, okay, we're okay. I see. Okay, big elemental monsters, Mysterio, Nick Fury, Maria Hill. Okay,
I was
just right at the beginning.
I was telling Peyton this as I was talking to him. Mysterio's suit is definitely got to be like top 2 like Marvel villain suits, like or
I don't
Spider-Man villain suits.
It's like insane to me how they nailed it, and how they did it comic accurately and didn't make it look ridiculous.
Yeah, because I saw the concept art of it and it looked good, but like there's sometimes where the freaking fishbowl head would be just way too big. Like it looks like it takes up like half of his body. But then like there are other times where like it looked too small. But this just looks just right. Yeah, it looks like what a modern Mysterio would look like. I can't even fathom how good this shit must feel. Low key, I might get a Mysterio costume. Dead ass. I might do it. Cape and everything, bro. Cape and everything. I will do it now.
I can't wait to see it. I love the transition into the ridiculous in memoriam for some of the events.
Yeah, I know, right?
It's so funny in memoriam and Comic Sans, and it cuts to that picture of Tony Stark, and that picture of Tony Stark for starting with the it's so funny.
With Whitney Houston's music over it, that is amazing. And then freaking the news anchor is Betty Brand, like what's his name, Jason. They're talking about like the blip.
Yeah.
And then he's like, yeah, shit's
Shit's
crazy.
crazy.
He's like, you know, not allowed to curse. It's like it's the last day of school, whatever.
Relatable.
That was funny.
So
And then
Peter comes in and he's like, I have a plan. He's talking to Ned about his plan, and then Ned's like, bro, we got to be bachelors in Europe. And I'm like, Ned, you're definitely pulling some bitches. Like, I guess Ned. I can see Ned being a bachelor. That guy,
that man has hidden potential.
100%. Guys,
And then like you know, and then he's like MJ comes up and they're all like awkward, whatever, blah blah blah. And then they go on the plane. And then, oh my god, dude, the plane shit's fucking hilarious.
yeah. Well,
like-
before that, they're at the little like fundraiser thing, and
Oh yeah,
I love how supportive
Oh,
May
shit.
is of Peter,
for sure.
which is
Oh my God.
Feige
Oh my God.
always wanted. Ever since the original Spider-Man trilogy, he always said he liked the idea of Aunt May knowing Peter is Spider-Man, so he finally gets to play with that in these movies. But also the super awkward, thank you, Miss Parker, for having me, and thank you guys for having me.
No, I know, right?
I was like, this man couldn't be
You know-
more awkward. I love it.
They're having a talk in the back and everything. And then Happy comes in, he's all like complimenting on May. I'm like, what the fuck is going on over here? Like, I was like, Happy?
Yeah,
Aunt May?
the first couple times I watched it, I think I was a fan. But rewatching it this time, maybe I was in a better mood or something. I don't know. I didn't mind it. I was like, man, I kind of like this.
Yeah. Maybe the villains need to pack up Happy and No Way Home too for taking Aunt May away from us. But there's also the thing I wanted to get into, the deleted scene at the fundraiser.
Yes.
Dude, they should have put that in there. I don't know why it was
Come on,
deleted.
I don't understand that decision at all. It is literally the most Spider-Man scene, in my opinion, the most Spider-Man scene in any Spider-Man movie, period. Just the,
I guess like why?
oh my god. I don't get it. I don't get it.
And there's another deleted scene in Far From Home too. Well, but I'll get into that after we talk about or whenever we get to that
I
scene.
can't think of a single reason as to why they cut that. Not one.
I don't understand. It's so good.
Yeah, and then
when
when the cops come,
too.
and when the cops come, and he's like, I'm going on vacation, and they're and Pete's like he was like, I'm basically I'm doing your job for you or whatever, and the cops are like, whoa, hey, wait a minute. He's like, I'm kidding. It's so good, and he's like, why?
And what doesn't even make like it doesn't help the fact that the scene is actually finished too with the CGI and everything, and he still left it out. Like,
Makes no sense. Makes no sense.
I'm screaming. I want to watch it after this. I'm gonna watch it.
Occasionally from time to time, because there was like a whole runner they cut out with like Peter like sort of preparing or whatever for the plane ride or whatever,
Yeah.
and he goes to pick up his passport and he goes, Peter Parker here to pick up a passport, please, like fucking tongue twister. And I say it from time to time because I don't know, it's just fun to say. Peter Parker here to pick. Oh my god, Peter Parker here to pick up a passport, please. It's hard to say.
Peter Parker here to pick up a passport, please.
Nailed it. Peter Parker here to pick up a passport, please.
Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah. Then after that we get into the plane ride.
Well, no.
What? what am I missing?
Peter's
okay.
getting ready at home, and then May throws the banana at him. He's like,
The
"What the fuck's going on with your Peter Tingle?" And people were so pissed. It's Peter, and I'm like, "Calm down. It's not like they're gonna call it that seriously in canon. You think Spider-Man's gonna go off and be like, my Peter Tingle's going off like in front of people, like
Captain Tattoo's off the charts.
it's just like calm down." But
It's just a little joke.
and of course, he takes Uncle Ben's suitcase. More Uncle Ben stuff.
BFP. And people are pissed. Like, why is it only initials? Why is it by name?
Yes, because he's gonna have a suitcase that says Uncle Ben.
like, oh my god.
Now we're on the plane, and fuck a man named Brad.
Oh yeah, Brad's he's hate this dude.
Fuck that guy.
What a creep as well.
For real. We'll get into that in a little bit, but like, Pete.
I love the
Sorry,
I love the part where like Flash is like talking crap to like Peter.
Oh yeah.
And then MJ's like, man, he blipped, so he's technically 16, not 21.
He's like, I don't even know that girl. But yeah, funny. And of course, Peter's teacher's story about how his wife pretended to get blipped. It's so hilariously devastating. Like, this poor man.
And he's like, yeah, we had a fake funeral and everything. Well, the funeral was real, but I was like, dude, come on, man.
Jesus,
that is so bad.
Like, horrible. I can't imagine. Jesus, man. She pretended, she was like, oh my god, this is my chance. Oh, that poor guy. Like, Jesus.
Doesn't deserve that at all. No one does.
Yeah, and then of course, Peter's plan fails. He, Parker luck. I mean, this dude's getting cucked in front. Brad sitting next to MJ, and they're having a good time. And then of course, Ned and Betty are sitting together, and then that whole thing happens.
I know, dude.
That whole relationship is so funny.
It was amazing. And then freaking Peter's like, well, I thought you were gonna be bachelors. Like, like all that's for boys. I'm a man now.
It's so good,
so funny.
And of course, so they're in Italy or whatever, and they have to go through customs. And that lady sees the fucking suit in the suitcase. Now, I know that they felt more free fucking with Peter's identity in this movie because they knew that they'd be ousting him at the end anyway. But scenes like this and the bar scene are still very irritating to me. It's like, it's so like really I know Spider-Man isn't some worldwide hero at this point, so she wouldn't really bat an eye. I get that, but man, I'm like, why?
That shit. Yeah, we'll talk about the bar. How about that bar scene?
Siri just went off.
Siri.
The hell just. Oh, I guess I activated Siri. I said, why? And she goes, here's some information, and gives me a song. Go away, Siri. Anyway, the montage of everyone having fun is great when Flash gets racked.
Oh yeah,
hilarious.
You love to see it.
But the scene where Beck is in the background still blows my mind. And also, like, his team sort of wandering around blows my mind. I'm like, oh my god. Like, I've seen it a million times, but I'm like, that's so cool that he's just in the background. But man, we talked about it earlier, but fuck me, Mysterio looks so good.
I love that. I love, like, any scene he's in. It's just amazing.
Yeah. But like a little bit more about his identity. They really play with his identity in this movie, like a lot. Like, too much, to be honest. It's a bit much, but yeah, like, and then Fury showing up and then knocking out Ned with the tranquilizer.
Oh, with the train gun and like everyone interrupting.
Yeah, that was really funny.
And then he was like, if another person, comes at that door, we're gonna be going to another funeral.
Yeah. And then, of course, they get to the place, and then he's like, you can take off your mask, by the way. Everyone knows you are here. And I'm like... But, so? Like, I don't know, man. But Peter completely nerding out on the multiverse. Again, how is this Spider-Man dumb in any way? Like, this man is going off on, like, basically speaking gibberish. Like,
it is the most Spider-Man thing ever. And then I love this line from Mysterio. It's like, don't ever apologize for being the smartest man in the room. I love that fucking line so much. It is such a good line.
Because you're usually the smartest man in the room.
Yes, I am. I'm telling you, I wrote the script. Like, come on.
Can I have a copy?
Sure.
Awesome.
Definitely have a copy. But yeah, then like, Beck. Okay, this is, oh shit. this bothered me so much. So when freaking I'm sorry, I'm hysterical right now because when you brought that scene up or brought up the scene, it reminds me of when the movie released and people on Twitter were just absolute stupid. So like in the scene when Mysterio's like, oh yeah, I'm from like a different planet and like this Earth is called like whatever. People were like, the multiverse exists? And I'm like, y'all have never seen Doctor Strange and it shows. My God.
Yeah,
It
and
is
even
so
though
annoying.
it turned out to be fake, the multiverse is still real.
Yeah, and people were like, people still try to downplay the multiverse. Like, and
Even though Doctor Strange 2 is literally called Multiverse of Madness. But yeah,
then
there's still people who are like, yeah, the multiverse isn't, I'm like,
yeah,
Jesus.
we have a whole show called Loki that freaking dives into like timelines and multiverses. And I remember Kevin Feige literally had to confirm that the multiverse was real. Like you had to bring out Lord Feige for that, bro. Like y'all like your freaking stupidity. Like let this man stop working on making great movies and content for us. That he had to come out and confirm that the multiverse was real. Y'all are stupid.
For real. All right, let's do it. Let's talk about Edith.
Oh yeah.
Listen,
Yeah.
people hate Edith, and I completely understand. It's too much.
I understand. I understand too.
It's
Yeah.
too much. It's too much for Peter, and really, ultimately, it's just sort of a rehash of Karen, but like multiplied by 100. And I understand that the whole point of Edith is to show that he's not the next Iron Man, but it just could have been handled better,
Yeah.
And like this actually pretty much pretty much this whole sequence, like from the scene with Peter like taking off his clothes in front of that woman, weird, just weird. I don't know what to say. Like you could have gone into like another room, go to the bathroom or something, then try it on, because like why and then of course you got Brad coming in and taking the fucking photo of him like a goddamn creep. I know. Okay, so like that scene all the way up to I think maybe sort of the start of the lava elemental fight, I'm not a huge fan of. Like I don't think it's trash, but it's not my favorite thing in the world. The whole like bus scene where he has Edith and he tries to send the strikeout on Brad.
He's a target. He's a target though. So
And I get it was a mistake, but and him like having to like look at the baby goats or whatever, and everyone was like, "Where's the baby goats?" I mean, it's fine, I guess. But
bro,
I did love the part where he accidentally knocks out Flash.
Yeah, that was funny. It also goes back to the what I was saying, how like Peter Parker doesn't know how strong he really is.
Yeah.
So yeah, and then he's like, "Oh, sorry."
Yeah. How did you feel about that sequence?
I mean, I kind of agree with you, like on the whole Edith thing. Like, I don't really like Edith all that much. I mean, like you said, it could have been executed like a lot better. I don't know. There's just something about Edith that I just don't like. Sometimes whenever I was watching, I was like, this shouldn't be in the movie. And if it is, it should be like it shouldn't evolve into like more into that,
Yeah.
So yeah, that's just kind of what brought down the movie for me in a bit. It was just Edith.
100%. And then of course after this movie, even though I do love these, even I was like, we need a more Peter Parker focused story.
Yeah.
And we'll get more into it next week. And even though we're big defenders and for these movies, and even though, especially in Homecoming, the Stark thing doesn't feel like an issue, in this movie it feels more like an issue.
Yeah, but
even though the whole point of the movie, we're gonna get into this more next week, but even though the whole point of the movie is to be like, you're not the next Iron Man, you're your own hero, you're Spider-Man, blah blah blah, it's a little bit too ham-fisted.
True. So yeah, I definitely understand that. Yeah, because like if someone were to say that, I don't mind criticism of like these movies and like Tom's character, but it just gets annoying when people like don't pay attention,
Yeah,
right?
it's the
So,
really
so
stupid complaints that make no sense. That it's like, what the fuck are you talking about?
say if someone were to be like, I don't like Far From Home because like we're saying right now because of Edith. Like Edith is just like a dumb plot point or whatever. Like
Fair
that's
enough.
fine. Yeah, it's fair. But if someone were to be like, I don't like the Hunter because he talking about I am a junior. Like, shut up, bro. like that's the part that we get like annoyed at. Putting that out there because yeah, like you said, we're big defenders of Tom's Spider-Man a lot because he's overhated.
Yeah,
But
we're not saying he's perfect,
but there is some fair criticism.
yeah,
that
people shit on him way too much for no reason.
Yeah.
Especially on Twitter.
and they don't give him they definitely don't give him enough credit.
But yeah, where the fuck were we?
We're talking about the Edith thing and the bus ride.
Yeah, but like in like order of events, where I guess like what's after the bus ride?
What's after the bus
What's
ride?
after the bus ride?
I don't know.
Let's just move on to the lava elemental.
Oh yeah, and okay. It's funny how I just watched the movie too and I don't remember.
So yeah, the lava elemental. I mean, cool fight scenes. Obviously, in hindsight, it's kind of fun to listen to Beck's dialogue because it's it's kind of ridiculous. And and Jake Gyllenhaal, incredible actor. He's like he's really like playing it up too. He's like, what are you doing, Beck? He's like, what I should have done last time. Like it's bored, like it's almost bad acting, but it's like obviously purposeful.
because like literally like the whole thing of Mysterio is like he's like an actor.
Yeah,
pretty much. So it makes
special
sense in that way
and stuff. Yeah,
but
and then of course we have the bar scene.
Oh wait, you want to know what's funny to me? I just while I was watching Far From Home.
What?
They literally like Peter says his name right in front of Ned and like Betty. It's like Beck, don't do it.
True.
Beck.
Although I don't think he was necessarily hiding it. Well, I guess he kind of was. Yeah. He was. It was because he was dead. Yeah, because at the end, J.K. Simmons was like Quentin Beck or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess he was hiding it. Yeah, he was like he was Beck. Yeah. But then
no, please.
Then we have the bar scene, which is
I
don't know.
both just wearing their suits in broad daylight.
As a scene, good. Like their whole back and forth, great, awesome. It's just why does he have his mask off? Why does he have his mask off? They could have easily just done the half mask thing, and it would have been fine.
Definitely one of those things to where back when we saw Venom 2 in the post-credit scene, why does he have his mask off? Why? Broad daylight, have his mask off, whatever.
Broad day makes no sense.
And it's like they could have like reshot it or like used like the picture where it has a half mask, half Peter Parker face portrait. But no, he just has a picture of him with a costume on and his freaking mask off. Like why? But yeah, definitely one of those things. It doesn't bug me as much as it does to you, but it definitely is one of those things where it's like, okay, yeah, like it's a big problem. And I tried to I told Peyton, like, maybe it's just one of those things where it's like it didn't really matter because there's a bunch of drones like that like were fucking with reality, but still like they still would have had to like walk there or whatever or something like that.
Yeah. I don't know. But like Beck's turn is super fun to watch. Get this stupid costume off me. And like the following dialogue is just a huge exposition dump, but it's done really well. I like how the flashback to the barf scenes is seen through Beck's point of view because like there's laughter when he says
barf,
I
was gonna say that
there's no actual laughter in reality. The man's just insane.
And then he's like congratulating all his crew. You have like William from the first Iron Man movie.
Yeah. And you got the
And then
story
you have
guy, the costume girl, the EMP girl. Like,
yeah,
good
and then
shit.
he's congratulating everyone. He's like to Peter Parker. He's like poor kid,
Yeah.
and he's like to Tony Stark and all that stuff.
To me.
That was some great music. I love the music that's going on
Yeah,
through
the
it.
Mysterio's theme. Woo!
The serious theme is definitely top 5 villain themes.
Be hitting different. So then we
Definitely.
move on to the hotel a bit more, and Peter sort of asks MJ out a little bit. And a fun tidbit, I don't know how many people see this, but like you barely see it. But when Peter and MJ leave the building, you can see Brad watch them walk out.
Really?
Yeah, he's just sitting there in the lobby, and he looks up. He's like, "Whoa!"
Well, reinforces the idea that he is still a creep. So
A creep and get fucked, Brad. But I
yeah,
actually I quite like how easily MJ figured out Peter's Spider-Man, because
I mean,
pretty easy to figure out.
yeah.
She was like, Washington, Peter, like, come on.
like I see you walk out like every day, like, you know. And I'm always looking at you. I'm like, okay, you know, like I know you want him,
I
bro.
literally saw you put on the Spider-Man suit, like, because you were in that alleyway and you were getting naked. And I was like, ooh. But then you put on a Spider-Man suit, swung away. I was like, oh.
I was like, oh, okay,
But yeah,
crazy.
Obviously they figure out that Mysterio is fake and whatnot, and then we get the amazing sequence seeing him for the first time in his mocap suit, the best suit for any Spider-Man villain.
For real.
It's number one. It's great. I love it so much. It's so good.
Probably one of the reasons why their budget was so low, because, you know, they didn't really need to do any more CGI. He was wearing the mocap suit.
For real. Man.
That was so good.
Yeah, and then of course Iron Man 1 guy is like, yeah, we got a drone missing. It's all good though. And Beck's like, do you want to die, bro?
Yeah, I know, right? You just freaking has like drones aiming at everybody's, like, you know. And then freaking look. Eh, Not to put this whole situation from Jake Gyllenhaal onto him, but it's just funny how they got him to play a villain that fucking gaslights people. The
Man was born for the role.
Man aims his gun, like his drones, at people, and he's like, "If he dies, the blood will be on your hands." It's like, what?
Oh,
Dude,
man.
that shit was funny. But then yeah, and then now like he has to freaking go after Peter Parker,
Yeah.
and his friends.
Peter finds Fury and Hill, or does he?
Oh,
And
does he?
fuck me, man. Like, fuck me sideways. That illusion sequence is
That is
so goddamn good.
that is definitely I'm going to say this right now. Like, that is probably top 3 the most Spider-Man villain worthy scenes ever.
It's so
Like,
good.
that is amazing. It was so good, man.
Because I'm for everyone that doesn't know, while I'm rewatching these, I'm taking a bunch of notes. And when the second the illusion sequence started, I like forgot to take notes. I was just staring at the screen. Oh man, it's amazing.
It's just that good.
Yeah, and then my guy gets hit by a train.
Yeah, he just tackles this shit head on.
Smacked.
And the thing is, like, okay, so like, you know how like those scenes on TikTok where like they like, compare like all Spider-Mans or whatever,
Yeah.
and it's like they always say that Toby's more durable. I would say Tom is more durable.
Tom's pretty I mean, the building, the way he ragdolls in Homecoming, yeah, he gets hit by the train. Dude's durable as hell.
I know.
Dude,
It's just,
my guy gets like punched in the face by Sandman a couple times and he's out.
I know, right? He gets like definitely gets slammed by Sandman a little bit, but still, it's like Toby, I ain't never like had a building fall on him. He never had a train hit him. Like, dude, yeah, Tom's very, very
Closest
fucking
thing to a
durable.
building falling on him is in Spider-Man 2, where that like one wall falls on him.
Yeah,
But yeah.
but that shit was crazy. And
Oh,
then he winds up in the. So what?
no, go on.
I was gonna say he winds up in the Netherlands and the most nicest people.
Yeah, what made me want to go to the Netherlands?
I know, right? It's so nice.
But yeah, and then of course he calls Happy to pick him up, and then Happy was like, "You watched porn that one time." Peter Parker watches porn, confirmed. And then of course when they're on the plane, you have that exchange. Peter says, "I'm not Iron Man," and Happy's like, "You'll never be Iron Man." Yeah, but no, he's Iron Boy Jr., right?
Yeah, he's Iron. Yeah, he's definitely Iron Boy Jr. Because oh my god, he relies on tech too much. Fucking dumb, brain dead argument.
For real.
And then people try to like reinforce that idea with the plane scene of him making his own suit, and it's like, I'm like, you think this man's just gonna fucking fly over to Hobby Lobby and get some supplies?
Start
dude?
knitting, like.
You think this dude's gonna fucking just like start sewing a new Spider-Man suit? No, like he's like, of course he's gonna use like a resource in the plane, but still, it's like, I don't, they ain't watching Far From Home. They're watching fucking Far From the Country or something, dude. I don't know what they're watching.
When Happy's like, "I'll take care of the music," and AC/DC plays, and Peter's like, "I love Led Zeppelin." When I watched this with my family in the theater, my dad was so pissed. He was like, because Back in Black starts playing, he's like, "Yes," and then he's like, "I love Led Zeppelin." He's like, "No." But man, that red and black suit, honestly, one of the best Spidey suit redesigns.
Definitely. And I remember people were saying how like that wasn't like comic book accurate at all.
It's too much like Miles Morales.
But the thing is that like, I don't know if this is true or not, but I remember seeing this one time that like Stan Lee and Steve Ditko, like the original suit was gonna be red and black.
Yeah.
But they wanted to do red and blue.
Yep.
So I don't know what people are saying.
It's a
like shut up,
it's a
bro.
reference to the original Ditko suit. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Good. I knew I wasn't seeing shit and I wasn't fucking crazy.
But in the final battle, when Happy lets Fury know that everything's BS,
Yeah,
everything starts to sound like BS to him.
I know, right?
He's like, they're merging. They're drawing power from the Earth's core. Now that's some bullshit.
Yeah. See, now that's some bullshit.
But yeah, the entire final battle, while it's big, and I don't necessarily like the big battles, I think it's done a lot better than the Amazing Spider-Man 1 or 2, or even Spider-Man 3, because in my opinion, Peter's connection with Beck is stronger than Peter's relationship with Beck is stronger with that level of betrayal. And like Peter uses his smarts to fight, and the bomb, the Captain America homage, the Spidey sense scene, a bunch of really, really great stuff that makes this really big third act a lot better than a lot of the previous Spidey third acts.
Mm-hmm. And going on like with this battle, right, and reinforcing on the point of people were saying that Peter Parker is dumb. This dude like managed to like understand how like a fucking broken drone worked, and he crafted a whole bomb while also using a sign from like a broken building,
and then he used another one of the drones to launch himself.
Yeah, after destroying the drones with the bomb he just made. Yeah. Like I don't understand. While also making an Endgame reference. Like, come on, bro. Like, dude, come on.
Great stuff.
Like great shit. Like, I don't understand. I don't understand that point. But still, going back to the things, of Spider-Man, like, so being recently new to this is really good with his webs. This man was just going in on the freaking drones, dude. This man was dodging shit. He was like webbing up the freaking like the bridge or the little bridge thing. Bro, that man was doing work. And dude, they freaking watching Spider-Man Far From the Country. They ain't watching Far From Home, bro. They watching something else.
Yeah. So, as a whole, did you like the final battle?
Yeah, I liked it a lot. I liked it.
That spider sense scene, man.
That is again another Spider-Man like worthy scene
So good.
for real.
He doesn't have spider sense. MCU Spidey doesn't have spite. You don't really hear that anymore because of this movie, but before this movie came out, my God.
Like, yeah, he doesn't even have a spider sense. I'm like, okay, and managed to freaking like tank a shit ton of drones with his fucking eyes closed, bro. And he was just going off. He was going off on those drones. He was like just so fucking angry. He was like pounding the drones and shit, and slamming them down.
Yeah.
And then like he confronted a freaking illusion Beck on the floor, and then he dodged a bullet. Like, come on, bro. Like, that's so fucking clean.
You can't trick me anymore. Like, yes.
I never. So he got shot, right? Beck got shot, right?
Yes.
He got shot by one of the drones, right?
Yes.
Okay.
I still don't think he's dead.
I don't think he's dead either. But I think I know who the sixth villain is in No Way Home. They're not doing Sinister 5. They're doing a Sinister 6.
No, they're not.
There are.
No, they're not.
Dude, the sixth villain is Mr. Dickovich, bro. He needs his rent from all three Spider-Man.
My bad. You're right. He comes.
his
Strange is
rent.
like, I can't stop them. They're coming through.
And Mr. Dickovich.
He's like, rent? And Toby's standing there. He's like, oh no, the most powerful of them all.
Freaking, you hear Rent and it just echoes throughout the freaking like the MCU. But yeah, and you know, it was nice seeing. Actually, after the final battle, it was nice seeing Peter and MJ kiss. Took him. Tom Holland took Zendaya away from us. Need to pack his ass up in No Way Home.
But yeah, and then, of course, after that, we finally, literally, we're 2 movies in, and we finally get a swinging scene in New York.
I know, right?
I love these movies, but that's something I was missing.
We're missing that. We need some more POV shots.
Yeah,
we did get another POV shot of him swinging.
Yup.
When he was like on the phone.
Need more though.
Definitely need more.
And then, of course, we move into the mid-credit scene. Which
yep.
Seeing that for the first time in theaters was certainly an experience. Now, unfortunately, J.K. Simmons coming back as Jonah was spoiled for me, so that sucked. I can't remember how I got spoiled, but I did get spoiled. But it was still super cool seeing him there. But the way my heart sunk to the floor when for the first time I watched this, and honestly, it still sunk when I rewatched it just a couple days ago when Peter's identity was revealed. I mean, oof. I stood there and I sat there in shock, like, what the hell just happened?
It's like Peter, like Spider-Man's name is Peter Parker, and I was like, bro, they no way they fucking did that shit, man.
Crazy.
I know,
so crazy.
I was like, my mind, I was like, bro, they're ballsy for doing that so early.
And like my second thought was like, it's too soon for that, right?
I know.
But now we're getting No Way Home, and whew.
At first, we thought that we were getting Kraven. Kraven would have been a nice story to do.
We could still get it.
We could. 6 member?
Yeah.
6 member? But yeah. That was just so crazy.
And then, of course, we get the second. What the fuck?
I know, right? What was the post-credit scene again?
Fury and Hill.
Oh, yeah, Fury.
Not actually being Fury and Hill.
Yeah, it was Talos.
To be honest, because Fury makes some questionable decisions in this movie. I can't imagine the backlash some of this movie would get if Fury wasn't actually Talos.
Yeah, it was like, like, bitch, please, you've been to space. And then it's like, don't invoke her name when he says Captain Marvel.
And of course he says whatever, something about his world, just not yours instead of ours.
Yeah. And also, it's also like one of those things, that also brought up like the question of like how long was Nick Fury to Talos, or how long was Talos Nick Fury for? Because like you see in
Age of Ultron,
yeah, Age of Ultron with the
toast,
the toast,
whatever.
Yeah,
I don't really
yeah.
care.
So
To be honest, I don't. Whenever
it-
he was
it's just-
Fury, whenever he's, I don't care.
it's just a cool question to think about. To be honest,
I did see a theory that maybe in the Winter Soldier, when he got shot and he
Yeah,
was getting
when he got
treated,
shot, yeah.
he got switched out in the end.
Yeah, for sure.
So like it was Fury, 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 and then when he comes down the helicopter to do the eye scan, then that's Talos. I could get behind that, but Age of Ultron, sure, it's Talos. I mean, I guess, but like, if it was like Talos at the funeral, then that'd be fucked up.
That would be fucked up too.
But yeah, so yeah, that's Far From Home. Not the best Spider-Man movie, but it's certainly far from the worst. It has some rocky moments, but when it's great, it's freaking incredible. And it's some of my favorite moments in any Spider-Man movie. So and Mysterio is like my favorite Spider-Man villain. They absolutely nailed him. So there's a little bit of bias there, to be honest, but it's one of my favorite Spider-Man movies. Not all of them, because Spider-Man 1's my favorite, but a lot of the, I don't want to say bad either, but a lot of the best ones aren't necessarily my favorite to watch. I don't know what that is, but yeah, Far From Home, one of my favorites, top 3 for me as far as favorites go, not best, favorites. But yeah, it's
sure.
So again, not the best Spider-Man movie, but not the worst. It's still, in my opinion, it's still really good. I think it's still great. I'd say. So I gave it an 8 out of 10.
Yeah, I'll give it a 6 out of 10 for me.
You gotta stop.
Stop what?
You gotta stop.
Okay, fine. It's not a 6. It's a 7 out of 10 for me.
Actually, now that we're here, you want to rank all the movies?
Rank all the movies?
Yeah.
Sure. All right, we're going from worst to best?
Yeah, I haven't actually looked at my list since I rewatched them. Oh yeah, that has to change. Yep.
Yeah. Let me change this a little bit. So I was trolling.
Yeah, that is definitely last after rewatching these.
Spider-Man 3.
Oh yeah.
There we go.
All right, so mine worst to best is Spider-Man 3, The Amazing Spider-Man 2, The Amazing Spider-Man 1, Spider-Man, Far From Home, Homecoming, Spider-Man 2, Into the Spider-Verse.
For me, it's Spider-Man 3, The Amazing Spider-Man, The Amazing Spider-Man 2. Change that. There we go. It's Spider-Man 3, The Amazing Spider-Man 2, The Amazing Spider-Man, Spider-Man Far From Home, Spider-Man number 1, Spider-Man Homecoming, Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, and Spider-Man 2.
Pretty similar list. I could switch Far From Home and Spider-Man 1 also.
Yeah.
Depending on the day. I could be whatever I'm feeling. But yeah, that's how I'm feeling right now.
For sure.
But yeah, that is Homecoming and Far From Home.
For sure.
Crazy, man.
The next week, we're going to go into the many, many complaints
about each Spider-Man. We're going to be talking about who is the best one, I guess, if that's even a real thing. We'll get into that. We're going to be getting to a lot of stuff, like who's the best and all the complaints, the pros and cons of each Spider-Man, stuff like that. So definitely tune in next week for that. So, is that the show?
That is the show.
All right. Well, thank you for listening to the Avengenerds podcast. If you want to follow us, we're at Avengenerds on Twitter. That's AVENGE Nerds, all one word. If you want to follow either one of us, you can reach me at @itzenith_ on Twitter or youtube.com/itzenith. Where can they reach you?
At Torrentino on Twitter.
Awesome. Well, we have a Discord. If you'd like to join the conversation there, those will be linked in the show notes. You can also check out our link tree for any additional links you may be interested in. You can also review the show in-app on Apple Podcasts. If you could leave 5 stars in a review, it would really help us out. Thanks again for listening to the Avengenerds podcast. We'll see you next week.
See you later.